Hello and welcome to a new video. Today I'm calling myself out again. So today I'm bringing you all of the completed book series that I have started but I haven't finished. So some of these I don't own physical copies of. One, I have the physical copies but I cannot get to them right now, so we're just not gonna put a picture up for that. So I'm going to start with that one, and that is the Noughts and Crosses series by Mallory Blackman. So with this series I have actually only read the first book. I have the other 5-6 books left. There's also like a little novella, plus there's one that's just come out that I haven't got yet because I think it's only out in hardback. But I am 99% sure this series is now completed, which means I have to add it to this list because I have started it with the first book. I really enjoyed the first book, but I haven't continued the series yet. So there's that one. Another one that I don't own physical copies of is the Potkin and Stubbs series by Sophie Green. So for this one I have actually read the first 2 books in this trilogy, so I do only have 1 book left to go. And I did have the physical copy of the first book, but I did unhaul it because I don't, as much as I am enjoying this series, it's not one I think I'm going to reread. So I ended up just unhauling the first book and getting the second book from the library. So I will just do that with the third book as well. I'll just get it from the library. So there is the other series that I don't physically, or there is the series that I don't physically own. I think that's the only series I don't physically own that I need to complete. That is a lie. The Witcher series by, do you know what, I'm not going to attempt this name because every time I've attempted it, it sounded horrible and I don't want to do that. But everyone knows The Witcher. There's a TV show, there's a game, there's books. I have only read The Last Wish currently, which is the collection of like short stories that are set before the main series, which if you're good, I think you have to read that first. And if you do, just go into it knowing that it's short stories that are going to be confusing, because I did not, and I was very confused. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So now let's get into the ones I've got in front of me. I just knocked my camera. So first up, we're going with the Secret Circle series. So this is a trilogy. This is all 3 books in these 2 books, which is really frustrating. So I have read the first one, which is The Initiation. The second book is called The Captive, and the third book is called The Power. So I still need to read books 2 and 3, but I have started this series, so yes. Next up we have the Vampire Academy series by Rachelle Mead. I have only read book 1 and I only currently own the first 3 because Liv got me the first 3 for Christmas because obviously she's hosting the VA along. But I will definitely be purchasing the other 3 books in this series and I'll be reading them as part of that read along. So I've read the first one and this is one that I anticipate actually finishing this year, which is good. Then we have one that's been on my shelves for a while. This is the Chronicles of Alice series by Christina Henry. I have read Alice. I have not read Red Queen and Through the Looking Glass. No, it's not called Through the Looking Glass. It's just called Looking Glass. I haven't read these yet. I don't know why. I love Christina Henry's writing and I really enjoyed Alice. It's just a case of I haven't got round to it yet. But also, let's appreciate those edges on Looking Glass. They're pretty. Next up we have the Bargainer series by Laura Thalassa. I have only actually read Rhapsodic. I still need to read A Strange Hymn, and I'm going to be completely honest, I cannot remember what the third book is called, but I need to read that as well. But I only currently have the first 2. But I need to finish this. I really enjoyed the first book. It was so good. I just haven't got round to reading the sequel yet, which is really the story of my life, isn't it? And you're going to hear that quite a lot. Next up is the Raven Cycle series by Maggie Stiefvater. So I have read The Raven Boys and I have read The Dream Thieves. I have not yet read Blue Lily, Lily Blue or The Raven King. So I really need to do this. I really wanted to get to these in December, but it just didn't happen, which is a shame. But I am hoping to finish this series this year. Fingers crossed. We'll see. We'll see. Next we have the 13 Treasures series by Michelle Harrison. So I have read the first book, which is 13 Treasures. I still need to read 13 Secrets and 13 Curses. I really enjoy this. I love the Pinch Magic series, which is this author's other middle grade series. It's just so lovely, and I really enjoyed this first book. It's kind of like older middle grade, which I really like. So yeah, this series. Then we move on to some YA. I need to finish the Ash Princess series. So I have actually read Ash Princess and Lady Smoke. I only need to read Ember Queen, and I've had this for about 2 years now, I think. 2 years. It is 2 years old next month, I think. And I just haven't read it. I don't know what is stopping me from reading it, but I need to finish this series because I really enjoyed the first 2 books. So yeah. Then we have another series that I need to read the last book, and that's the Isles of Storm and Sorrow series. So I have read Viper. This is obviously it's by Bex Hogan. I've read Viper. I've read Venom. I have not yet read Vulture, and it's killing me because I feel like this book is going to rip me apart and I'm not ready for it, which is why I think I'm putting it off. But it's such a good series so far, and I've heard nothing but good things about that final book in the trilogy, so maybe that will be what I need to actually read it. Next up, I don't know if this series has an actual series name, but it is These Witches Don't Burn series by Isabel Sterling. So I have read These Witches Don't Burn. I do need to read This Coven Won't Break. There is also a novella which I have on my Kindle, which I think is set between the 2 books, but I cannot remember. Is it These Spells Won't Break? I'll put a picture here of what it is because I can't remember the actual name, but I know it's like an orange cover. But yeah, I need to finish this series. Another duology I need to finish is the Merciful Crow duology by Margaret Owen. I have read Merciful Crow. I have not yet read The Faithless Hawk. I have literally just finished reading Little Thieves by Margaret Owen, which is a book obviously by the same author, but it doesn't connect to this. And oh my god, it was amazing, and it reminded me how much I love her writing. So hoping to get to this soon now that I've been reminded of how much I love the writing. Next up we have the Imperium trilogy by Claire Legrand. So I have read Furyborn. I have read Kingsbane. Did my plan of reading Lightbringer in December go to plan? No, it did not. So this is a series I'm hoping I will finish this year instead. I've loved this series so far, so I have high hopes for this. But I'm just notoriously bad at finishing series. Next up, we have the Stalking Jack the Ripper series by Kerry Maniscalco. I have read Stalking Jack the Ripper, and I have read Haunting Prince Dracula. I seem to have been reading these one a year because I read the first one in 2020 and the second one in 2021. But this year, I am hoping I can get to Escaping from Houdini and Capturing the Devil this year. Will I actually do it? Probably not. But it's good to have goals, even if they're unrealistic. Next up, we have the Aurora Cycle series by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I have only read the first book in this. I've only read Aurora Rising. I am yet to read Aurora Burning and Aurora's End. I am genuinely scared, but I was using the excuse... So my excuse for not reading Aurora Burning was because I kept seeing people say how the ending of this will make you want the final book straight away. So I was like, I'll wait till the final book. I've had this book for like a month and a half now. No, that's a lie. I've had it for about 2 months now. And have I read it yet? No, I have not. I need to stop using that as my excuse because it's clearly not the reason. I'm really intimidated. I'm scared on how this is going to end because the end of the first book ripped me apart. So maybe this year will be the year. Next, we have the Snow Like Ashes series by Sarah Rash. Sarah Rash is one of my favourite authors now. This is her debut series, and I have read Snow Like Ashes, but I have not yet read Ice Like Fire or Frost Like Night. I am genuinely scared because I've not heard great things about this series, and I was not disappointed in the first book, but I could tell it was her debut. It wasn't the greatest, but I did still enjoy it. I think it still got a 3 or 4 star from me. I did enjoy it, and I do want to continue the series because the storyline was really good, and I like how I can tell how much her writing has improved since then because I've read her These Rebel Waves duology, and I've also read the first book, like Set Fire to the Gods. So that's not included in this list because I'm not sure if it's a duology or a trilogy. So I'm not sure if it's completed yet, so I haven't included this in this list. But yeah, this series I need to finish. Next up we have Serpent and Dove by Shelby Maherin. I have read Serpent and Dove, and I have read Blood Like Honey. I need to read Gods and Monsters. This was also on my December TBR, and I just didn't get to it. I'm kind of putting it off because I'm scared, because the ending of Blood and Honey really hurt, so I'm really scared about it. But I need to read it. I want to read it. I'm just scared. I'm being a scaredy cat with this, but I'm gonna read it. I promise you I will read it and finish the series. Next we have I'm gonna forget how to say this, Rhaenyra Revelations by Michael J. Sullivan. So this is actually 6 books. Each one of these volumes has 2 books in. So I have read the first 2 books, which is the bind up is called Theft of Swords. I still need to read the bind up of Rise of Empire, which is books 3 and 4. And I need to read volume 3, which is books 5 and 6, which is Heir of Noveron. These are hella chunky though, which is I think the reason I've been putting these off. But honestly, this was incredible. I loved it. It's adult fantasy and I'm just here for it. And I believe there is a spin-off series or a sequel series or something, which I'm also interested in, but I feel like I need to finish this first. The audiobook for Theft of Swords is also really good, so I highly recommend. And I believe the audiobooks for these are all on Scribd as well. So, yes, I need to read them. Next up is one that has been on here for a while, and that's the Darkest Minds series by Alexandra Bracken. I've read the Darkest Minds. I actually got a copy from the library to read, so I haven't actually read this copy, but I liked it, so I bought the entire series because of course I did. But I still need to read Never Fade, In the Afterlight, and The Darkest Legacy. So I still have 3 fairly chunky ones to read, and yeah, I do want to read them. I don't know why I'm putting these off. I really don't. I cannot answer that question for you. Next we have the Cinnia's Daughter trilogy by Melinda Salisbury. So I have read that's the wrong order. Why is that in the wrong order? That's stressful. So I have read The Cinnia's Daughter and I have read The Sleeping Prince. I am yet to read The Scarecrow Queen. There we go. I really enjoy this trilogy so far. The second one threw me a bit because it's from a different POV to the first book and it's like a brand new character, but I really enjoyed them, so I do need to finish this because I feel like everything's going to come together and everything's going to be wrapped up. But I really enjoyed the first 2 books, so I need to get to this one and complete another series. We're almost at the end. I feel like this isn't enough. I've definitely forgotten some, but we move on. Next is a fairly new one to this list. It's Relentless by Karen Lynch. I have read the first book, which is Relentless. I need to read I need to read Refuge and I need to read Rogue. This is a series that Erin got me into. She actually bought me all 3 of these and I read this for her and I actually did really enjoy it. It was a really good book. I had some slight criticisms, but there's not many books that are perfect. So I really enjoyed it, and apparently there are spin-off series of this, but this is actually just a trilogy, so it counts as a completed series, but I think the whole thing is completed. We'll see. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's one that I need to finish. I think I said that was the penultimate one. I just remembered another one I forgot to take off my shelves, and it's the Spinster Club series by Holly Bourne. So if you know me, you know I'm a massive fan of Holly Bourne. She's one of my favourite YA contemporary writers. I have read Am I Normal yet? I still need to read How Hard Can Love Be, What's a Girl Gotta Do, and then the novella and A Happy New Year. So I've still got 3 of these, technically 2.5 of these books to read, but I really enjoy this series of what I've read of it so far, which is book 1. But I've liked everything I've read by Holly Bourne, even her debut, which isn't the greatest, but I still loved it. So yeah, I need to read that. I almost forgot about it. I can't believe I almost forgot about it with those bright spines. Okay, I think this is the final one. I think. I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. But it is the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy by Laini Taylor. So I have read Daughter of Smoke and Bone. I have not yet read, I'm dropping the books, I have not yet read Days of Blood and Starlight or Dreams of Gods and Monsters. My reasoning behind it originally, I had a very battered secondhand paperbacks of these that I'd got from charity shops. and I read the first one, and then my reasoning behind holding off was that I wanted to wait till I got my matching second and third book from Illuma crate, because this came in the box and this we had to order separately. I can't keep using that excuse because I've had these for about 6 months now and I haven't read them yet, but I'm definitely going to at least read the second book this year because I really want to continue the series because I really enjoyed what I did read. Okay, so I think that was all of them. I haven't actually written all of these down on my book series tracker, and one of the ones I did write down isn't actually finished yet. I have missed some. Oh no. Right, there's 2 more. I'm really bad at this. I should have just assessed my notes, shouldn't I? Yes, I should have. This is a bit of a mess. I apologise for how much of a mess this is. If you know what day I'm filming this on. I'm filming this on Saturday. If you see my Twitter, you'll know why I'm a bit of a mess at the moment. Let's not go into it. So also there is the Heart of Thorns series by Brie Barton. So I have read the first book. I am yet to read Tears of Frost and Soul of Cinder. I got the pretty matching hardbacks and then didn't read them. So I need to get to these as well. And then this is the final one, I think. It is Onyx and Ivory by Mindy Arnett. I've read Onyx and Ivory, but I am yet to read the sequel, Shadow and Flame. I've not heard anything about this having a third book. I'm pretty sure this is a duology. I guess I'll find out when I read it. If it ends on a bit of a weird one. Oh no. Yeah, no, this is just a duology because it says the epic story that began with Onyx and Ivory comes... Do you mind? So it's got the epic story that began with Onyx and Ivory comes to a stunning conclusion as acclaimed author Mindy Arnett throws readers into a beautiful, terrifying world poised on a razor's edge in its struggle for survival. So yeah, it is just a duology, so this is a completed series, so it belongs on here. So that was all the completed series that I have not yet completed. I'm going to be completely honest, I have probably missed some, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to ignore that. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below if there's any series that are completed that you still need to finish. We can share our shame together. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Bye.